Hi, welcome back. I'd like to welcome my first guest. He's Burlington Police Chief Kevin Scully. Hi, Kevin.
Greg, how are you?
It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
Please, let me assure you, you're no longer on the spaceship.
Oh, good.
Okay?
Good. That's
right.
a relief.
Now, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Not at all. Thank you for the invitation.
Now, how long have you been police chief for Burlington PD for?
Since 1986.
And was that an appointed position?
Commission, when a vacancy occurred, appoints a new chief. And I happened to be one that came from the ranks.
And who did you replace?
I replaced Bill Burke, who was with us for about 10 months. Bill came
Only 10 months?
That's all.
How come? How come so short?
Well, I think that probably he had an agenda of his own that required his moving on. A job offer back in California from where he came, and
in police work, he went back to work for California and law enforcement.
He went into private industry in California.
He's working at a price chopper out there, isn't he?
Well, he's no longer out there, but he didn't work at a price chopper, and he was a retiree of LAPD and was with us for 10 months. Returned to California. He's now, interestingly enough, in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. He's the chief there.
Now, it's 12 years then that you've been in this position, right? 1980.
1986.
1986.
So I've been there about 6 years.
About 6 years now. What sort of advancements in the past 6 years are you the most proud of in terms of what you've been able to accomplish?
I think well, there are any number of them. Community-based policing, as we have begun to develop that program. The DARE project, which actually started with Bill Burke, but I had the opportunity to steward the program and see it grow. Any number of community initiatives, particularly initiatives around sexual assault, rebuilding the Sexual Assault Investigations Unit.
In terms of the sexual assault, do you think that's put you in a better communication and connection with the UVM sector of the police overlooking the campus there?
We've always had a solid liaison with the University of Vermont and directly with the students as a practical matter. I would imagine that some of those services do have an effect in terms of people understanding better what the police service can do. Now, it's also important to know that for the years that I have served as the chief, we provided through our charter and my commission the opportunity for the University of Vermont Security Services to actually do police work. And this year they became independent under special legislation just passed this past session. University of Vermont has its own independent status as a police organization. So
they're not Burlington PD, they're the UVM.
They're their own, that's right, they're their own police department.
But they don't get squad cars. They have those little moped things that they're in a ditch and they turn over and that's it.
No. They have real police cars.
Really?
They have real police cars, yeah.
Really?
As a matter of fact, they have even newer police cars than we do in Burlington. So.
Well, now they can't carry any handguns or anything,
yes,
can they?
Can, yes.
Really?
Course, yeah.
So over the library books, you're riddled with bullets.
That's right. They're fully authorized law enforcement people. Yeah.
Now, in terms of all the elections that are coming up.
Yes.
Now, mayoral candidacy. Now, are you on? Now, there's one mayoral candidate, Ed Bickford.
Well, I believe that. I believe that Ed.
Dust is settled there. Everything's okay.
Ed Bickford launched his campaign, and he's preparing for March. I don't think he's well. He might be preparing for the November election. I don't know, but he's preparing for March, I think.
The important question: does Ed know when March comes?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Now, in any case, now the dust is settled, and I spoke with Ed. He did a call-in thing here to promote his campaign a few months back, and he said that things are fine, and he respects you, and he got a little out of hand before, and things are okay.
Well, Ed does that from time to time, and we all understand that, and Ed still remains an important member of community. So
absolutely,
far as
he's a recognizable face.
That's absolutely true.
Right.
Personality and all that goes along with it.
It's the whole package that
right.
Streaming into the night, isn't it?
That's right.
Now Burlington PD's moving.
We hope.
Right.
We hope. And now that's a November election issue. But we hope.
And where does that stand right now? How probable is that?
Well, I think that there's a high probability that we will be successful in November. On November 3rd, there will be a ballot question appearing on the ballot, which will ask the voters of Burlington to approve $3 million to build a new police headquarters. That new police headquarters will be located at South Winooski Avenue in Maine, right next to the fire station. There are two parking lots there now. One portion is a municipal lot. The largest portion belongs to the county, and then the Midtown Motel. It's on that site that police headquarters is scheduled to be built if our voting public can see their way clear to approve the bond of $4.3 million.
So if approval is made, then they'll start breaking ground in November?
Oh, no. If we are successful, there'll be a lot of planning that will have to be carried out during the winter months. A lot of preparation for bringing equipment to Burlington to get the project underway. We would anticipate that groundbreaking would probably occur certainly no earlier than April, no later than July.
Would you settle for, I mean, is there some stipulations that you have an alternative development plan that's less than 4.3? That it can still happen if it's a lesser budget?
This is a lesser budget.
What was the initial amount?
The initial request was for $5.3 million, and that ballot question appeared in November of 1990 and March of 1991, and both of those failed, and they only failed by a little bit. And there's an important note about capital bond questions, particularly in the city of Burlington. When we have a capital project, we have to have a 2/3 approval. No one except Springfield, Vermont, I believe, has such a requirement. Capital projects are successful on simple majority otherwise. So 2/3 is really difficult to capture in the first instance. In 1991, respectfully, we only lost those elections by less than 500 votes.
That's so close.
That's right. Yeah. In each of those ballots, any municipal issue that appeared, clearly the police came out first with against all the others that appeared.
Well, that's really encouraging.
So it's really encouraging. That's right. I think that the people understand that there is a need.
And it looks like you're facing success this time. What I'd like to do is I'd like to open the phones right now, 658-5165. If you want to call up and have a question for Kevin Scully. And now you brought some plans here.
I did.
For the development of the new police station. And I don't know what you want to look at first, but I'll hold them and you can point to what's going on.
Okay.
What would you like to look at first?
Well, here, let's take a look at these just so that people know. Why don't you hold one and I'll hold one, because there are views here.
Okay.
This is a much closer view of the building as it would appear at the corner of South Winooski Avenue in Maine. That's the artist rendering of the building. Some of the important factors about it is that one, it'd be all brick, but there'll be two brick, not quite as dramatic as you would see it in the artist rendering. Another important issue is that as you look at this portion of the building, this is like an entranceway that's all covered, and a handicapped ramp exists there. Currently, there's really no handicapped accessibility to police headquarters, much less having one that's so well designed and protected from weather and all of its conditions.
So this door here leads to the jacuzzi and indoor track?
No? It would if we could have one. And then this just gives you a larger view of the intersection to the fire department.
So it's going to be a 3-story.
It'll be a 3-story structure.
And you're in the penthouse right there, right?
Yeah, right.
That's you,
right.
overlooking the city.
As the architect would tell you in talking to the chief, you could never tell exactly where necessarily desired to have his office, but probably everything else was important. This design comes to us from Brooks, Carey, and Kielman, the architects. The contractor is going to be right in Morrissey. The selection is made in a competition with other companies. The mayor appointed a 10-member selection committee. There were 3 competitors. There was a 4th submission of an individual who did not meet the RFP requirements, and this was the final selection of that committee. So that's what the exterior
What concerns do you think there's going to be any with being on that corner?
No, there won't be any traffic concerns. The fire department, as I would note, is right here.
Right.
And emergency vehicles probably exiting police headquarters would exit on the Main Street side, but there's also a way on the South Winooski Avenue side.
That's pretty common, isn't it, to have the fire department and the police department next to each other? Let's take a call for you.
Sure.
Do you have a call for Kevin Scully?
I certainly do. Craig, first, just like to say you're doing a great job. Thanks for the show. Appreciate it.
Oh, I'm glad you're watching.
And
question for Kevin?
Sully, perhaps you could explain to this property taxpayer of Burlington how the location was determined for this and how during these recessionary times you can really justify $4.3 million when I could think of a number of different options, such as possibly even double-wide trailers located throughout the city, such as in places in the Old North End that would get the police, as you said, a community-based police thing is one of the efforts you've built up and are proud of.
Okay, Cole, let's have Kevin comment now.
Okay.
The selection of the site comes from a 1989 study conducted by engineers who looked at Burlington and Burlington's needs in terms of services and looked at different locations in the city where best a police headquarters might be. The downtown business community as well as the residential community also told us that if there were to be plans to build a new police headquarters, that people would really like to have it in the downtown area. And there was a general sense from people that come in and out of the city that there was a feeling that they would like to have police headquarters in a downtown location as well. So residents beyond downtown, business and people living downtown, engineers who come in to take a look at all of the needs of a police department, select as a first site of preference for the project. We're in recessionary time. There is no question about that.
Right, but there needs to be some sort of expansion and centralized things.
What we have to recognize is that the police headquarters that we're in today does not allow for a handicapped person to gain access, does not allow a handicapped person to seek employment with us, and there are many people who are confined to a wheelchair or other medical support devices that could work for us if we could get them into the building. We have to try to understand that there are victims of crime, whether they're domestic abuse, sexual assault, child abuse cases, witnesses of crime, who come into an environment and won't be any more than 20 feet from an individual who might have subsequently just been arrested and will be the person who has perpetrated that crime against this victim or witness. There are just a few of the problems with 82 South Winooski Avenue.
Certainly you can't address all of them.
No, and you can't ignore them. Mm-hmm. We've gone to a lot of effort to reduce this cost to $4.3 million over the course of the last year. And interestingly enough, a homeowner, a property owner, with a property assessed at $70,000 on the tax rolls will only bear the expense of an additional $25 per year in taxes. That's $2 a month to build a facility that is needed. We moved into our current police headquarters just 25 years ago. We shouldn't have to build a new police headquarters this soon. If we build this police headquarters, we won't be reaching it
for many
years. That's right.
Thanks for calling, and hopefully we address some of your concerns.
Thank you.
Now, what are the chances of Burlington PD officers getting stun guns like Winooski cops?
It's remote.
They have a ball. They're out there stunning each other. They love it.
But we won't be doing that at Burlington.
No?
No.
Now, in any case, okay, we've...
Oh, boy. Go ahead, Chris.
In any case, that person's been cut off. Me. Oh. Anyway, now, is there anything here, one more we can look at? Is there anything...
Well, there are floor plans, Greg. One of the things we can take a look at.
One. Yeah,
we'll take a look at the first floor.
Okay.
We'll put it right up here.
What's going to happen to the old building?
The old building will either be sold or be used for some other municipal purpose.
Just show us one of the larger holding areas you'll have, and so we can see contrast to what we normally have.
This would be the holding area. It's a processing area, really, what we call a booking area. Individuals that have been stopped and might be DWI or individuals that have been involved in some criminality individuals that require fingerprinting and photographing will be brought to this area and held in this area to be released, which we most often do, as required by state law. They would be released from that area.
Right.
If they were to go on to the correctional center, they would leave from that area.
Okay. That's, and this is where the underground tunnel takes you to New Hampshire in case the city gets out of hand.
That's right, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
And,
Connectors.
in any case, now one personal question I have before we close our
Yeah.
segment is what's the shortest height you can be a Burlington PD officer?
There's no height requirement.
Because, I mean, you have wonderful cops.
You could qualify.
You have wonderful police officers. I dealt with them, but they're pretty shrimpy.
They're pretty shrimpy.
They're pretty shrimpy. I don't know if you go to the academy and say we have to take
No
a certain amount
tuners.
of,
No
certain amount of short
tuners.
guys.
Just
No?
shrimps.
They're shrimpy. Okay, well, in any case, we're going to go to a call interlude. I'd like to thank Kevin Scully for being with us. And you come back and see us
Thank you.
again?
I will.
All right, good luck with your stay for the
you.
first term.
All right,
Thank you. We'll be right back.